the season preview for the 2026 UC Irvine baseball season. Here with Coach Ben Orloff. Why don't you give an introduction to the fan base?
Yeah, Ben Orloff, UC Irvine alum, played here 2006 to 2009, starting the 8th year as head coach.
And not forget a Hall of Famer as the Hall of Fame class continues to grow. We have Keston Hira coming in this year. A bunch of Anteater baseball players recently.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good ones.
Starting, I guess, look back at last year before we head into this year. Another postseason team, 43 wins, Big West champions. Talk about the 2025 team through your eyes and the successes they had as a program.
Yeah, it was a really good year. Just a consistent group. When you win the conference regular season, you're the best team in the league for 10 weekends. And I think we got a lot of fulfillment in that, where it was a really new team coming off the 2024 season that was really good. So to win 43 games, to win the conference regular season, to get back to a regional final, all that stuff was really stuff we're proud of. And then individually, 6 players get drafted, 7 signed, Penso signs after the draft. And then, last year there were 7 UC Irvine alums that appeared in the big leagues. So that's the most probably by far for any season. So I think really successful as a team. And I think, when the team does well, there's a lot of individual accolades to go around.
You mentioned a little bit the team, a lot of new guys last year, a lot of new guys this year that we'll get into. But the one thing that stayed the same is yourself and the coaching staff now, 8+ years that between yourself, Coach Bloodworth, Coach Babona have been together. RJ's still there for now 4th or 5th year. And signing an extension over the offseason through the 2030 season. So, what does that mean to you to stay here at UC Irvine and bring with this staff that's been so successful?
Yeah, this place means a lot to a lot of us. And I think even going back on, the start of that question with the draft, these top 10 rounds, in this vein of continuity, we've had 9 guys get drafted in the top 10 rounds over the last 2 years. 7 of those guys came here as right out of high school. 1 was a junior college transfer. So that type of continuity as it leads to the coaching staff is it's rare in the year 2026. So the fact that, me and Danny and JT specifically have been together for 8 years. As you look across on the West, I think we're the only school that's got 3 guys that have been together that long. And that's a part of consistency with the program, consistency of performance. It all starts with players. But the fact that we've all been together so long just makes the consistency of what the program looks like really good. And I think, we're really fortunate to have those 2 guys. And I think it's just as things go, I get too much credit. The assistant coaches don't get enough, but that's been a giant part of why we've been consistent, year in, year out here.
And, with that consistency, winning seasons every year that you've been the coach here, hoping to keep that going this year. Talk about kind of a broad stroke over 2026 as it's coming up in a couple weeks. What should the fans expect? What should, people invest in the programs expect? How does it compare the roster and kind of the mindset that you've had, recently with the success?
Yeah, so I think, every year is a new team. I think, the things that the fans and the people that follow our program will be aware of is, the strength should be on the mound. When you return Trevor Hansen, who's made 32 starts in 2 years, Ricky Ojeda, who's been, arguably amongst the most valuable pitchers in the whole country, Ryder Brooks, who had a really good season for us last year, throwing mostly on Sundays. So when we start with those 3 guys, that's a really good place to have returning innings from. Brought in a transfer, Peyton Rogers from San Diego State. Freshman Cade Castles has been very impressive. So that's kind of just the list of a small group of guys that'll contribute. But I think, that nucleus is going to give us a chance, day in and day out. And then been really happy with how the defense has played. I think we should be a group that defends at a high level. I don't think we're going to see the over-the-fence team power that we've had the last couple of years, but there's other ways to win, and offensively we'll be really left-handed again, which I think can present problems for the opponents. And we've done a good job staying in the strike zone. There's not a lot of chase. There's not a lot of swing and miss, and so I think that stuff lends itself to being consistent. But, jury's out. It's early, but that's kind of the overview as we'd give it now.
That's kind of been the MO for the team the last couple of years. You get guys like Colin Yeaman who had some injuries coming in. You get new faces like a Jacob McCombs and years past where you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. They're new to the program, and then you see what the results are. So let's start with the offense a little bit. There's not a lot back. In years past, we've had the entire lineup coming back at times, but this year there's guys like Frankie Carney, who now seems like a core veteran leader out there. Alonzo Reyes really came into his own last year. James Castanola and Zach Felstad, both guys that got a lot of time last year, and they really improved as the year went on. So how do you see like you said, the defense laying out with those guys and any new guys that may crack the starting lineup?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed that list of returners, and I think it's exciting because down the stretch, I mean, I think Reyes and Casanola were two of our most consistent guys, and certainly in that regional. I mean, those were two of the guys that were carrying us in that thing. And Frankie certainly had his moments last year of being like really good. I mean, he hit 330 last year in his first year as a full-time starter. Felstad, I think, will step into a more consistent role. I think the exciting name to talk about is Tommy Farmer. He's local-ish kid that went to Oaks Christian, went to the University of Texas for 2 years, had 200 plate appearances for them last year on an SEC championship team. And I think he's the candidate, as you bring up McCombs or Yeaman, that could be this transfer that really takes that next step and looks like a star. And his work ethic's amazing. The motor's high. He wants to get better. I mean, that's part of why he came here. And so I think when you add him to that list of returners, then there'll be another 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that are contributing on a regular basis. And so there's enough there, certainly, for us to have a productive winning offense.
And then we talked about on the mound a little bit. Obviously, it starts with Trevor and Ricky. Ricky had a great showing with Team USA over the summer, playing in Japan as well. And Trevor's been consistent, and it's going to be a battle really for those two. Who's going to get the Friday night start? But you got to be happy with who's coming out Saturday, either one of them. And you mentioned a little bit from Cade Castles. There's a lot of depth between Danny Suarez, Finnegan Wall. Tim Grock is back from injury. So there's going to be a lot of guys for not a lot of starting roles. So how do you see the pitching kind of laying out with all sorts of arms to have at your disposal?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. David Butler, there's a lot of names to add. Hunter Manning's looked really good as a freshman. And that's part of why we've scheduled as we have with, even that Grand Canyon midweek. I know we'll get to the schedule in a little bit, but we like the depth of the guys that as we think of the top 12 guys on the pitching staff, it's probably good as you felt about a group of 12. And so there'll be a lot of opportunities for guys early. I think as every game is so important that one guy can pitch on Friday, one guy can pitch on Saturday. But I think what's made us so good certainly is relief pitching. And our guys know how we feel about relievers, and relievers help us win a couple times a week. What's made us so good and consistent the last 2 years is I think we've had 3 losses when leading after the 6th. And so the ability to, when the starter comes out of the game, to have really good options and pitch really good in those middle to late innings it's important for everybody in winning. And I think, we're kind of excited to see how that shakes out. And then, a guy that Tim Grack is a very exciting name, I think, because he missed last season. A lot of people tend to forget about him, but he was the Sunday starter on a 45-win team 2 years ago, and he's just made of all the right stuff. And I think he's going to kind of be an X factor as he continues to get further removed from that surgery and get stretched out. He's going to be a guy that we're all going to take notice of.
Yeah, and we'll move into the schedule, which there's some analytics out there saying the number one non-conference schedule. I know it's exciting when you build that, but then you look and you got to go up against it. So talk a little bit start with the non-conference schedule, which there's a lot of big names taking on somebody from every Power 4 conference this year. And even the midweeks, almost every midweek opponent is a tournament team from last year. So it really is probably one of the better conference schedules, going to test you guys all throughout.
Yeah, I think you know me, I think we take a lot of pride in just the non-conference scheduling. I mean, that's the stuff that we can control. I think it's good to test yourself against the best teams in the country. It's good for RPI, postseason type stuff, but it's also good just for the current team to be able to see some of those best teams in the country and to be able to play against them, to see how we stack up. We talk about this year at Stone Group, but I think we're the only team in America that maybe 2 years in a row has 20 true road wins. And so we challenge ourselves by playing good opponents, by going on the road, and that's what's helped us again, we're one of the few teams, certainly from a non-Power 4 league, to have back-to-back at-large postseason berths. And this schedule is, as you said, it's no different. It's cool looking at it until you have to play it. But starting at Sac State, this is a return from 2020 when Sac State came here with one of the best weekend rotations we've seen in 8 years. Sac State's been a consistent performer. They've won 30-plus games, 12 of the last 13 years. Kind of cool to get a chance to play them before they enter the league next year, but just a consistent winner. Cal coming in here week 2. This will be the start of a home and home. So we will actually open up next year at Cal. Cal being an ACC team now, this is a really good thing, I think, for both of us, for them to stay local, for us to play against an ACC opponent who's consistently been known for really high-end first round, second round, third round talent. Then we go to Las Vegas that third week. Those guys at Peak Events have been great to us, and we'll be in some of their tournaments the next couple of years. This year specifically, Vanderbilt, Oregon, and Arizona. We got to play against Vanderbilt last year, opening weekend in Arizona. Vandy won the SEC tournament last year and entered the postseason, if I'm remembering correctly, as the number 1 overall seed. So I don't think we need to convince people that Vanderbilt will be good. Oregon hosted a regional last year, had been in super regionals the 2 years before that. So we'll play them on Saturday, and then Sunday's Arizona, who played their last game of 2025 in the College World Series. And then once we get conference started, and the bye week will be against Oregon State, who played their last game last year in the College World Series. And we've had some really great series and postseason games against Oregon State in the last 5 or 6 years. And Oregon State, you read the stuff that's out there now, and we got to see it last year. They might have the best starting pitching in the country, so that'll be a really fun challenge for us in the middle of the conference slate. And then new on the schedule this year is this Grand Canyon on a Tuesday, Wednesday. We kind of lose with the conference tournament. We lose one weekend of scheduling, and I think we also lose a midweek where that last conference series is a Thursday through Saturday, so we won't play on that Tuesday before that. So to pick up a Tuesday, Wednesday against Grand Canyon, trying to maximize the games that we can play. Good opponent, Greg Wallace, head coach, first recruit in the history of the new 2002 baseball era of UC Irvine. They're a consistent winner, and so I think this could be a thing that every year we're playing them 2 times. We'll go there next year for a Tuesday, Wednesday. So playing new people, playing good people, playing more games, and so as always, a really tough non-conference slate that hopefully prepares us for conference, and also if we win enough, puts us in consideration for an at-large berth.
Yeah, and you said it way at the beginning there, the road schedule, 3 years in a row, the Anteaters have won close to 20 road games, neutral and road games. Now a lot of that's coming here. They're going to see Oregon State here. Last time they were here was probably one of the best 3-game series that I've seen, at least 3 games that went down to the final at bat, and we took the series. And like you said, haven't seen Cal in a while. They're a great team. And then you didn't even able to hit on the midweeks where there's USC, who will obviously be here, and UCLA, considered probably the number 1 team with the number 1 player. They'll be here right at the end of March. So all sorts of things to look at. That first non-conference push is obviously going to be a test, and then keep getting that, especially in Anteater Ballpark, for the fans to see.
Yeah, it's a great non-conference schedule. It's a great schedule. Like, you mentioned, UCLA and USC, where I think you said it. We've got games against teams from all 4 Power 4 conferences, 3 different opponents that were the 8 final teams playing. UCLA, obviously, will be probably the consensus number 1 in almost everybody's poll, and they ended our season last year in their regional with like a really good team that went to Omaha. So it's a great schedule. We're excited. I mean, even the first couple of those home series, I know we got Northridge early, and then Santa Barbara and Cal Poly, who were 2 of the better teams in the league last year at home. So I think it's a really good home slate specifically this year.
Yeah, we talk about the Big West. I mean, it's only getting better. We saw Cal Poly in that great championship last year, the first, as they brought it back. But the Big West is on the rise. Overview on the Big West. You mentioned some help for the Anteaters in getting some teams to come play here, but how do you look at the Big West coming up and that second half of the season, trying to win another Big West title and defend what you have?
Yeah, I mean, the Big West is, I mean, it's such a great baseball conference. The historical tradition of this league is great. But to your point, it feels like every year the league is really good. I mean, if we just think of, I don't want to neglect anybody because we have respect for everybody and there's good opponents throughout the whole conference slate. But if we think about last year, just that conference tournament, those 5 teams in it, I mean, Cal Poly beats us 2 times in a row to win the conference tournament. They won 40 regular season games, I think. They led, I think, all of America in hits last year. They returned 6 starting position players in the entire weekend rotation and have arguably, I mean, one of the best coaches in America, Larry Lee. Hawaii, what Coach Hill's done there the last couple of years. I mean, they're going to be in it all of the time. They're very difficult to play against, and we'll have to go there this year, which is tough to go on the road, especially at that place. Fullerton really had a good second half of the season. Came here and beat us twice. Finished in 3rd place last year. They return a lot of offense. Santa Barbara last year has Tyler Bremner, the 2nd overall pick in the country. They got Jackson Flora this year, who could do the same. Is always going to pitch at a really high level. So just those teams that were in the conference tournament last year. UC San Diego might have the most returning offense in the country, in the conference. Long Beach State, TJ Bruce's 2nd year now, and so UC Davis in their last year in the league with Tommy Nicholson, and those guys have been good. Bakersfield played 3 tight games against last year. We open up against Northridge here, so it's a really good league with good coaches. I think nationally it doesn't get the respect that it deserves. That it was good for the league that we got 2 bids last year because it was really deserved. And I think those 5 teams that were at Fullerton last year, any one of them could win it. So I think as it transitions to this year, we're going to have to play well to be in the tournament. I was kind of lukewarm on the idea of the conference tournament. I just think there's so much value. I didn't want to devalue the 10 weekends of the regular season, the 30 conference games that we play. Having said that, the conference tournament was exciting last year. It was good baseball, 5 good teams. So we're looking forward to having it here this year. Again, hoping that we play well and we're in it. But I think it'll be good for our fans and the local people just to get a snapshot of the quality of baseball that's played in this league with super high stakes and the postseason starting the next week.
And that was basically a season preview. I don't know anything else you want to touch on. Obviously had a great alumni presence last weekend, over 100 guys and some impressive play. The whole lineup seemed like pro or major league guys, and seeing everybody out there and excited for the season to come as well.
Yeah, you see some of those, especially those young alumni, and you felt like, man, we used to be really good coaches when we had these guys. So it was fun to see those guys, and it's just cool every year to see the amount of guys that come back, what this program means to a lot of people. And then I just respect the young guys that are playing in that because they like competition, and for our current guys to see the talent and how much the program means as an alum is very cool. So I think that's a great way to kick off the season, and I would just end by encouraging people to come out and follow us. It's a good brand of baseball. It's a great level. We have that great home schedule that we're talking about, and so the more people that we get out, the more people that follow it. It's a good product.
Got a lot of opportunities to do so. Thanks for coming on, Coach. We'll get the season kicked off, and fans can check us out, ucirvinesports.com, at UCIBSB, anywhere you can find it. ESPN Plus for all our games. Mark Roberts back on for some radio games. We'll get him out to Vegas, too. He'll be out there for some fans to...
Yeah, we'll make sure he makes curfew.
to follow that matchup, all those big matchups. And, thanks again for coming on.
Cool. Thanks, Alex.